Before we begin tonight's story, if you're drawn to whispers in the dark, secrets buried deep, and spirits that never left, then subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, because what comes next is not something you want to miss. Episode 1, Asterisk, the cleaner who didn't bring a bag. I'm gone now, and I tell the story not for pity, not for prayers. I just want the next person to stay away from that house. But I know someone will come, like I did. My name is Raymond. I used to make a living cleaning abandoned houses, the kind left behind after accidents, after crimes, or after things people don't want to name. I worked in silence. No uniform, no tool bag. I never brought a bag because I never wanted to carry anything out of houses like that. That time, I got a call from a strange number. A woman's voice, crackling like it came from a broken radio. The house behind the lake. Don't bring anything. Just come clean. I didn't ask the price. Didn't ask her name. I just went. The house stood alone behind a black lake, thick as oil. No insects, no wind. I sat in the car for a long time before stepping out. My palms were sweating, my throat bitter. I was used to feeling watched, but this wasn't a feeling. It was presence. I knew it. This house. I'd been here as a child, but no one believed me. No one believed I saw my sister, Lisa, disappear right in the middle of that living room. No one believed it was my father who brought her here. I opened the door. Inside was pitch black. No dust, no cobwebs. Just the smell, the stench of old cloth soaked in blood. The stink of damp bones trapped in walls too long. The floor creaked under my steps, even though I walked gently. The sound echoed on purpose. It woke things up. I passed the living room. The old fireplace still there, and the carpet burned in one corner, like someone had set something on fire. A picture on the wall still hung crooked, a family of 4. But I remember clearly, there were only 3 of us. I went upstairs. The room on the left, it used to be Lisa's. I knew instantly. There was an old teddy bear on the bed, arm torn, its belly stitched, then ripped again, like something had been stuffed inside and pulled out. I stepped closer and realized the teddy wasn't old. It was warm. I turned around, footsteps in the hallway. I moved slowly to the door. No one there. But the hallway light flickered, and on the wall, tiny handprints in soot appeared. A long line of them going downstairs, like someone or something was crawling headfirst down. I ran to the kitchen. The basement door was ajar. The smell hit harder, burned hair. I didn't mean to go down, but my legs no longer listened. I stepped down, one step, then another. The basement was where I died. Not literally, not right then, but death started. When I saw the metal chair chained to the wall, dried blood crusted around the edges, on the ground, broken fingernails, a pile of tiny bones arranged in a star. In the center, a tape recorder, blinking red. Still working, I pressed play. The first sound, Lisa crying. Then my father's voice, no crying. If you cry, your mother will hear, and she can't handle it. Daddy, I don't want to. I saw someone in the wall looking at me. There's no one in there, just echoes. Next came clicking. A blade scraping metal. Lisa screamed. Then silence. I threw the recorder, stumbled back and bumped into someone. I spun around. A child, eyes black as ink, skin ghost white, holding a clear plastic bag. Inside, an adult's tongue, freshly cut, blood dripping. The child smiled, mouth stretching to the ears, baby teeth mixed with grown-up ones, like two sets of teeth fighting for space. It held the bag out to me. You didn't bring a bag, it said. I kept this. For you. I stepped back and stepped on something soft. I looked down, a patch of scalp. On it, a tiny mole behind the ear. Mine, I screamed, but no sound came out. My throat was stuffed. I reached into my mouth and pulled out a piece of silk embroidered with Lisa's name. I ran up the stairs to the door. It wouldn't open. Light went out. I heard my father's voice. You shouldn't have come back. Now you've seen it. You'll have to stay. Then laughter. Lisa, my mother, my father, and even me, laughing like I'd lost my mind. I died not long after. Police never found my body, only a pair of blood-stained shoes by the basement door, next to an empty plastic bag. I'm still here, in the house, in the walls, in the basement, and I will tell this story to the next cleaner, because they will come. And they won't bring a bag, but we'll keep something for them. Every piece, every soul. Episode 2, asterisk, the one clap in the night. I once believed I could heal. I once believed sound could cleanse like fire, like water, until I heard that clap. Now I know some sounds aren't meant to heal. They're meant to summon death. I'm Aurora Sinclair, sound therapist, a title that sounds more noble than it is. I hold no medical degree, only certifications in energy work, meditation, and acting skills sharp enough to convince the wealthy that bells, singing bowls, and heartbeats could be purified. I used to think I was helping people, but truthfully, I only wanted to heal. Myself, I lost my mother when I was 11. An accident. Her body was never found. My father, a former cop, never spoke of her. He drank. He stayed silent. I learned to live in silence. I grew up inside it. So when I became an adult, I chose to listen deeply, endlessly, hoping to uncover what silence once hid. Then, one day, I heard a whisper in my own ear. It wasn't my inner voice. It came from outside. If you believe, sound heals everything. Then come to where sound begins. I thought it was a sign, a place of sonic disturbance that needed cleansing. I researched, asked around, even reached out to old friends in real estate. Eventually, I found it. An abandoned house beyond the Black Lake in Calistoga County, Oregon. No map, no address. But locals called it the Silent House because no one dares speak loudly there. No one even breathes hard. They say 40 years ago, a whole family vanished inside. All they ever found was a pair of human ears, still wearing silver. Earrings left on the altar table. Police called it a mass murder, but no killer was found. The house was sealed off, then forgotten, until I arrived. I brought my low-frequency recording kit, an omnidirectional mic, a sound field meter, and some basic cleansing tools, Tibetan bells, a brass bowl, and an old charm I kept from my mother. I went alone. No one knew I was there. I thought if this was a place of sonic chaos, I'd be the first to capture it. I thought I could conquer the fear. I didn't know that what I'd hear was something others had spent lifetimes trying to forget. The house appeared behind dead hornbeam trees. The Black Lake nearby reflected a sky thick with ash. Tall, wooden, sharp, gabled roof. Windows boarded up, as if the house had shut its eyes, shut its ears to the world. No number on the door, but a rusted iron sign hung crooked. STAY, silent. Whoever knocks first will pay. I laughed softly, half out of habit, half thinking it was some prank to scare kids. But the moment I laughed, a single clap echoed from inside Dot. Just once. No echo, no reverberation. But it struck my sternum like a slap. I stepped in. The door wasn't locked. The latch rusty, but opened easily, like someone had just unlatched it from inside. It was dark, not cold. No smell, no dust. Number, cobwebs, nothing at all. As if the house had just been cleaned. For me, I placed microphones on every floor, every room, all connected to my central laptop. The more I recorded, the more I heard things that shouldn't be heard. Breaths, soft passing by the mics whenever I turned away. Fingernails tapping gently on wooden walls, and especially every night at exactly 2:17 a.m. every mic captured a single clap. The first night, I thought it was equipment failure. The second, I found the sound had identical acoustic properties, frequency, resonance to a clap made by an 8-year-old child. I began to fear. I stayed awake on the third night, waiting at exactly 2:17 a.m. I sat in the living room, eyes wide, laptop open in front of me. The candles went out. No wind, no reason, and then the clap, right by my ear. Not from the speakers, not from the walls. It was beside me, as if someone stood right there, right next to my face. I turned sharply. No one, but the mic recorded a faint whisper. You heard it. You clapped for the children. Now you must know. I trembled, stopped recording. I still believed I could escape. I didn't know that hearing the clap even once meant I had answered the call. On the fourth day, I lost control of the equipment. The laptop opened files I had never recorded, but the system showed them as real dot in one file named child3.wav. I heard voices, man's voice, clap. If you don't, you'll lose your tongue. Child's voice, no, mama, mama. Man's voice, she won't obey. I clapped already. I did. Then screaming, a single clap. Then the sound of flesh dragged across wood. Then silence. I didn't eat, didn't sleep, lost track of time. Every time I stood up, my reflection in the mirror moved the wrong way. Every time I lifted the cleansing bell, it rang even before I touched it. I tried to leave. The car wouldn't start. My phone had no signal at the front gate. I saw a man in a police uniform sitting in an old wooden chair, holding a red lantern, staring at me. I asked who he was. He said, "The last one who clapped in this house." I screamed. I didn't clap. He whispered, "You heard. Hearing is accepting." Then he vanished. That night, I opened the laptop one last time. Every audio file had been renamed. clap_001, clap_002, clap_003. There were 117 files. I'd only recorded for 4 days. How were there 117 claps? I opened the last file. Inside was my voice. I clapped. Once Dot then said, "I'm sorry, Mom. I can't heal anymore." I don't remember recording that. I don't remember. I remember nothing after. I woke in the dark. Walls painted shut. No windows. Children's hands covered my chest. neck, face cold as wax. They whispered inside my head, forced me to clap. I tried to cover my ears, but the sound didn't come from outside. It came from inside my ears. I clapped to keep my tongue, and like every child ever trapped in this house, I vanished after the very first clap. Now I'm part of the house. I am the clap. I am the whisper in the microphone. I am the reflection that walks the other way. If you step inside, I won't scream. I'll just stand behind you and clap once, just once. Enough to make sure you never hear anything ever again. Episode 3. Asterisk. The room without mirrors. I used to be a healer. I mean, that's what they called me. I had a room where children would sit down, shivering, staring at me with eyes red and glowing, like fireflies in the night. And I sat there, saying, nothing, no need to speak. They would. One way or another, I don't remember the last time I was normal. Maybe when I was a child, when my mother shoved my face into the oval mirror in the bathroom and screamed, "Do you see what you are? You're what's driving me mad." She was right. I did go mad, but not the kind of madness people expect. Screaming, clawing, howling in the street. No, I went mad in a way the world wouldn't notice until it was too late. The kind that wraps its insanity in lullabies, in gentle eyes, in a soft hand placed on a child's shoulder, saying, "It's okay. The doctor is here." I wasn't a doctor. I had no license. I was just a woman living alone, growing old in the darkness of the abandoned house by the lake. The house I had rented one winter in 1992 after its former owner went missing. No one asked for papers. No one wanted to know about me. They just wanted to leave me alone, and I wanted that too. I remember the first child I treated. His name was Ethan. Ethan had eyes like cracked glass, fragile, cold, reflecting nothing but their own fracture. His mother brought him on a rainy morning. She left him on my porch, speaking softly. "He doesn't talk. Can you help?" I nodded. Ethan didn't cry, didn't get angry, didn't speak, just looked at me, as if he knew. I led him to the therapy room, a small room on the second floor. No windows, no mirrors, nothing but a recliner and an old antique clock hanging on the wall. Its hands never moved. And in that room, I sat across from Ethan for 2 hours. Not a word. I waited. Ethan waited. The wind howled outside by the lake. Then he whispered, "Mom doesn't know." I saw in the mirror. I shivered. Saw what? I asked, Gently, trying to keep my voice from trembling, Ethan lowered his head. "You, behind you." I spun around. Nothing. Just a peeling wall. Ethan smiled. A crooked smile, torn entirely too. One side, as if someone had ripped his mouth open from within after that day. I stopped using mirrors in the house. Mirrors reflect truth, and I had too many lies. I hid children in that room, one each week. They kept coming, and they didn't leave. I told their parents the treatment required total isolation, that it could take months, that they might not remember anything when they returned, but none of them returned. The room had no mirrors, but it had eyes. I knew because I saw them. The patches of mold on the walls. They moved every night. It seemed like they were breathing. I hung a wind chime on the door. Anytime someone entered, it would ring. But one night, while I was asleep, I heard the chime. Though no one had touched the door, I shot up, my heart like hundreds of mice scurrying inside me. I went to the second floor. The door to the room was wide open. No one inside, just the chair, spinning slowly, and a red streak on the wall. A streak of blood, like a tiny finger, writing the word look. I had no mirrors, but I grabbed a silver spoon and looked into it, and I saw .me, but not me now, the me from the night in 1987. The night I strangled my sister in the bathroom. My sister's name was Claire. Claire wasn't like me. She was beautiful, smart, loved by our mother. I wasn't. I was the sick one, the burden. But one day, I saw Mom slap Claire for spilling fish sauce, and I realized no one was safe in that house. I waited. I knew when Mom would be gone. I snuck into Claire's room, and I did it. Held tight. Didn't speak. Just stared into her eyes as she struggled to breathe, and I smiled. Then I shattered the mirror on the wall, taped a shard over Claire's mouth, and left her lying there as if sleeping. No one knew. No one investigated. Mom thought Claire had run away, and me, I survived. But every time I looked in a mirror, I didn't see myself. I saw Claire every time until I smashed every mirror in the house and moved here to the room with no mirrors. There was one child I can't forget. Her name was Riley, a curly-haired girl with blue eyes, 8 years old. She came with her stepfather. The man looked at me with hungry eyes, not for me, but for the act of leaving Riley behind. I hated him. I took Riley into the room. She cried. I hated crying. I locked the door, but 3 days later, when I opened it, Riley wasn't there. Not dead. Not hiding. Just gone. Only a piece of paper scribbled, a picture of me, no eyes, no mouth, standing in the room, hand raised, holding a mask on the back of the paper, scrawled in blood. You think you're healing, but you're just prolonging the madness. I collapsed. For the first time in 30 years, I cried. I died. A few weeks later, no one knew my body was being slowly eaten by rats. Decomposing in that room, no one entered, but I stayed. I am what remains of madness. I sit there every night, staring at the broken wall, where children's blood once soaked through, and I see my face again in the hazy reflection of the nightmare. I was the healer, but I also killed the last pieces of soul in the children who were never called home. If one day you visit the house by the lake and hear someone inviting you into the therapy room, don't go, because in that room there are no mirrors, only me and you. Episode 4. Asterisk, the door only opens when there's crying. Told by a ghost I used to live here, in the room with a door that never opened, unless there was crying, and I was the first child who dared to cry. Also, the last one who never left. When I was alive, my name was Henry, 12 years old. No one remembers where I lived, what school I went to, or who my parents were. Even I don't. Shivering under the fog as the footsteps of my stepfather faded behind the trees. He said, "If you're brave enough, you'll find your own way back." I didn't go back. I walked toward the small light coming from the abandoned house, thinking someone might still be alive in there. I was wrong. Or right, just not in a way a child needs. The house smelled like the past. Old paper, damp fabric, burnt ashes, and something like tears held back too long. I knocked. No answer, but the door opened by itself, just wide, enough for a child to slip through. I stepped in, no one on the ground floor, just a cracked wooden staircase leading to the second floor. I heard something, not quite a voice, not quite music, more like someone sobbing, caught in their throat. I went up. The hallway upstairs was narrow and long, with 6 closed doors, except for the last one on the left, where the crying came from. I touched the handle. It was cold as ice. I turned it. It didn't open. I knocked. Still didn't open. Then I did the one thing I never thought I would. I cried. The cry burst out of me like a dam breaking. All the times I'd been left behind, hit, insulted, called useless, mute, a burden. All of it poured into the sobs. And when I cried, the door opened. The room was empty. Only a spinning chair in the middle, and in the corner, a torn, stuffed bear its eyes crusted with dried blood. I didn't go in. I stepped back. The door slammed shut behind me, and a voice whispered right behind my ear. You knew how to get in, but do you know how to get out? I turned. No one there, but the chair started to spin. The bear twitched. I screamed. The room swallowed the sound. No echo, no bounce. Like the air itself ate my voice. Then the voice returned, clearer this time, from inside the wall. You're not the first, not the last. But if you dare to listen, we'll tell you. I was trapped in that room for 7 nights. Each night, the room changed. The mold on the walls became hands. The wooden floor softened like raw flesh, and the crying still there, not from one person, but many. Children, adults, male, female, young, old. They whispered, they told stories about people tricked into this place, kids abandoned by parents, lovers betrayed, friends forgotten. There was a girl named Mira, 17, who took her life in the tub after her boyfriend leaked a video online. She woke up in this room, but there was no door, just walls full of faces. There was a soldier named Ramon, killed by a bomb, never returned home. His soul drifted here because this place is a leak zone between the living and the dead, between tears and hate. And there was a child named Ellie, 4 years old, who died in the trunk of a car while her parents argued and forgot to let her out. She still doesn't know she's dead. Every day, she digs through the floor, calling, "Mommy, I'm cold." I don't know why I was allowed to hear. Maybe because I was the only one who dared to cry. But in return, I had to keep the room. I became part of it. Years passed. I didn't age, didn't die. I became the soul of the room. I listened. I remembered. I was the gatekeeper, and I learned the rules of the room. The door only opens if the cry is real. If you enter and don't cry again, you'll be swallowed by the wall. If you tell your story and make someone else cry, you'll be set free. No one has left. Not long ago, a woman came. She said her name was Rebecca, around 40, in a business suit, carrying a voice recorder. She was a journalist, looking into the missing children around the lake. She knocked. I didn't open. She whispered, I had a child. She vanished in 1999. I want to know why. I opened. Rebecca walked in. She saw me, but didn't realize I wasn't human anymore. She just said, "My name is Rebecca Hall. I want the truth." I said, "You have to cry." She scoffed. I ran out of tears. I said, "Then you won't get out." She stayed 2 days. On the third night, She turned on the recorder. There's no signal in the room, no power. But the recorder worked, and she told her story about her daughter Lana, taken at age 6, about years searching across the country, Matisse, losing her job, divorcing, about the last thing her daughter said to her, "Mom, can you hear me crying?" At that line, Rebecca broke. She sobbed, real, raw, desperate. The door opened. The first person ever to leave the room, I saw hope. If someone tells deeply enough and cries true, they can leave. I wait for the next. Last week, a group of young people came to film a vlog. That night, one of them, a girl named June, got lost on the second floor. She saw the door. She stepped in. She didn't cry. She screamed, threw chairs, punched walls. I warned her. She mocked. These scare tactics are outdated. The walls began to drip. The chair screamed. And the door shut. I couldn't save her. I'm no longer human. I just keep the rules. And the rule says, no crying, no escape. Now June is part of the ceiling. Each night, her voice trickles down. I don't believe. I don't believe. Believe it or not. It won't change the end. I tell you this because I see you standing at the door. I hear you crying, very soft, but real. If you walk in, I won't stop you, but I will ask, do you hurt enough to speak it? Are you real enough to cry? If yes, you might be the next to leave. If not, you'll stay with me. Episode 5. Asterisk, the one who carries the red light. I was the last one to leave that house. But not on my feet, someone else's hands. They dragged my body out after 40 years, buried beneath the kitchen floor. Under cracked cement and cold tiles, my ribs twisted, my skull hollow and rotten. No one even remembered who I used to be. The people in white uniforms, forensics, maybe cops, they only looked at me as a piece of an old case reopened. They didn't know one of them was the reason I ended up there. He held the red light back then, and now, same flashlight, old and rusty, with a blood-red beam like rust mixed with blood. He was the first one who walked into that house when the massacre happened, and the last one to walk out. Without suspicion, his name was Roy Keener. Sergeant, every report said he was the one who discovered the scene, but really, he created it. In 1985, I was the only child in my family to survive the mass killing in the house by the lake. Survive, if you can call being locked beneath the kitchen floor. Dying slowly after 5 days without light, without water, without breath. Surviving Dot, I was 10. I heard his breathing as he leaned down toward the crack in the tile. He whispered, "Be quiet. You'll fall asleep, too." Then the flashlight clicked on red light. I died with that red glow filling the last of my darkness every year. Listening to the footsteps of wanderers in the abandoned house. A drunken couple, some college kids playing dares, a junkie looking for a place to hide. They all saw the flickering red light in the hallway. Anyone who heard the 3 knocks at the kitchen door never came back. And me. I just watched from underground. The bloodstains from my family were scrubbed clean, but no one dared step into the kitchen after sunset. Even with all the windows shut, people still heard water dripping. It was my tears, or blood dripping from the red light. Roy Keener had long retired, but he kept coming back. Still walked the house with the red light. Still inspected the scene like the first time, though no one needed a report anymore. I thought it was guilt or obsession, but no. He came back to check if I'd risen from the ground. That night, he returned one last time, holding the red light, stepping over the tiles that once buried me. I had waited long enough. He shone the light on the walls, then down to the floor where the construction crew had dug a deep hole, revealing the old soil beneath me. I stood, their ribs shattered, hair tangled with earth and moss, eyes hollow but fixed on him. He turned on the red light. The beam trembled onto my face. But this time, I didn't disappear. Maybe you don't believe ghosts can pull the living into the dark, but that red light of his, the one that once silenced me, now reflected back, blazing red like the blood from my eyes when I suffocated. I heard his scream, one scream, then the light fell. I touched his neck, and after that, no one saw Roy Keener again. But the red light never left. Last week, a group of students filmed a TikTok in the old house. They captured the dark hallway, heavy footsteps, and the flickering red light. None of them lived to post the video, but it uploaded by itself. At 3 a.m., the title was, "We found the cop with the red light, and me. I'm still here, not underground anymore. I walk the hallways every night, holding the red light. I'm the new scene investigator, because from now on, no one enters without leaving something behind, a body, a voice, or a soul. The red light's on. Did you bring a report? It's all right. I'll write it for you in blood."